Welcome back, everybody, to the second North American Online Qualifier Cup. Once again, my name is Josh Allen, a.k.a. Lore, joined by Jared Colston, a.k.a. VHell. We've had some really exciting series so far today, and we're about to move into yet another really exciting one. In fact, if we can take a look at the brackets really quick and catch you up on exactly how everything has gone so far. In the first match, we had Luminosity 2-0 over Older Men, and then just the previous match we played was Rise of Lasak advancing 2-1 over Methods. So those two teams are going to have to face off in the semifinals. But this next match is going to be Dream Team versus WoD Baby Feral, and I am really excited for this match.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting matchup. Of course, Dream Team and WoD Baby Feral, both great teams. Of course, WoD Baby Feral, not too well known in the tournament scene so far. Absturge on that Resto Shaman, as we're going to have I Love My Cat on Feral, Jelly Beans on Hunter. Lots of people know who Jelly Beans is. And then Vasil on Warlock, playing both Affliction and Demo.
Yeah, this team is really interesting. They kind of just threw their team together just to be kind of like, oh, you know what? Let's give this a try. Let's see if we can actually get a slice of that $100,000 prize pool. And so far, they've actually been looking really strong. They were actually able to, I forget which team it was that they actually beat to be able to get here. Oh, it was GOML that they were actually able to beat, which is a really strong team. Of course, Dream Team. That's a team that we know very well over the years. That's, of course, going to be Sam I Am, Snuts, Talbadar, and Soda. Talbadar and Soda, of course, winners of BlizzCon 2013, who played with Chanimals, who has already qualified with his team, Is Butter a Carb, is the name of that team. So they've already qualified. We're going to be really interested to see how these guys can do here. And in fact, we actually have a little bit of a clip that we're going to be able to show you guys from one of the matches that they played in order to get here. It was a really awesome series. They ended up winning 2-1 over Team Shake It Off, which was one of the favorites to be able to win both the previous cup and this cup. That, of course, Shake It Off being Majidin, Feloria, CMG, and Asper on that team. So we actually have a clip that we're going to be able to show you from the game that they played immediately before they were able to qualify for this match. You can go ahead and jump over to that game.
So again, it is going to be 1-1. This is Tolvaron, and GCD TV was able to capture this for us during the qualifiers. As you can see, the offensive push from Dream Team, like, they turn it around. Sam I Am is taking some damage right now, but they immediately force some CC out onto Floria. If you can watch how long that CC chain lasts, forces to disperse out, and Majidin actually having to block offensively to try to stop some of the damage. You can see the poly going out onto Snuts at that point. It looks like Soda did push up during that onslaught, was going to try to toss some CC out himself, as he does get Horde out in the middle, as looks like they're going to swap onto him. Look at that. The Deep forcing the Bark Skin immediately. Yeah. Already the Hand of Sacrifice out, expecting the CC to come on to Feloria, but that Deep lands as Soda does die right here. But because these guys are tournament veterans, they know that they can't give up. And look, they toss more CC out onto Feloria. As you can see, it's just flawless CC, no gaps whatsoever. As Feloria is going to get feared yet again as the wings come out. But look at this.
Yeah, so much damage going into Majidin, and he does get that Avenging Wrath up, but they're going to have to try and pull over here out of line of sight. Feloria gets caught into that root, gets a couple of heals off, but then the Frostjaw onto him, into the Deep Freeze as well. Majidin's going to Ice Block, but right after that Deep Freeze, the Polymorph lands. That's going to last longer than the Ice Block. Majidin's actually going to cancel it slightly early and try to get away, but the Shadow Fury comes out onto Feloria, into that Fear as well, and that is actually the reason that clip is so amazing is because Dream Team, actually, they lost their healer, and they were able to not only get the counter kill, but then in such a hurry be able to work through the remaining players on Team Shake It Off, despite the fact that they still had a healer available, just by having the presence of mind to say, okay, you know what, we lost our healer, that's fine, we can turn this around, and as long as we just keep our CC going constantly, as long as we don't screw up, we can actually still win this match. And screw up is exactly what they did not do, and that's gotten them here today. So it's going to be a very exciting match as they're going to be able to face off in this next matchup. And thank you so much to GCD TV for being able to get that match pre-recorded for us so that we were able to play it here for you today. And yeah, the match is actually going to be queued up. This is going to be Dream Team versus WoD Baby Feral. Of course, the first map, as always, is going to be Nagrand Arena. Dream Team is going to be playing Frost Mage, Subtlety Rogue, and Resto Druid. So, yeah, that's it.
Snutsar? Gonna see a little Snutsar on Rogue?
Yeah, exactly.
Haven't seen him pull that out in a long time, actually. You know, we did see Snuts take a little break from streaming a couple months ago, but he's back and streaming it non-stop. And of course, Soda on Resto Druid yet again. With Sam I Am playing that mage. It looks like Soda is going to be playing Incarnation, not going to be playing Double Dispel Glyph, and is going to be using Heart of the Wild also. As you can see, Absturge is going to be playing Echo the Elements for that double link instead of Nature Swiftness. Also going to be using the double Dispel Glyph also, Glyph of Nature's Cure, I do believe. And then, and nothing else that's too out of the ordinary.
Yep.
So should be an exciting match. Looks like Earthshield is going to be on Vassal right from the start, but we're going to see if that Feral can make anything happen. So the gates are going to open as I Love My Cat XO is going to be sitting back just for a second. It's not going to be moving too much as we see the opener immediately on to Vassal. Oh, it looks like they are going to train this Shaman down. Absturge getting kidneyed as he is going to be just destroyed right from the start.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I Love My Cat actually didn't move for that entire match. Maybe having a little bit more of a connection issue here. I'm not sure exactly what that was.
Yep,
they're actually just trying to find him, and he was in stealth, so they don't actually know where he is. They're not going to be able to go over there and kill him unless they start looking for him. So we'll get that figured out. Of course, the gates had opened. And the way it works is if they know that someone on their team is having a connection problem, they actually need to leave the match before the gates open. So like in one of the previous matches, it looks like this is going to be a win here for Dream Team. A little bit unfortunate to have disconnects, but the nature of such tournaments is that we're kind of at the mercy of the interwebs from time to time. So we'll get back into the next match, but that does put Dream Team up 1-0. In this series.
Yeah, as so 1-0. I don't see any comp changes, of course, from there, just because you know that really didn't give them a shot at the match too much. But it is going to be WoD Baby Feral's map choice at this point. Map-wise, you know, they're probably going to pick something like a Tolvaron, you know, having that Warlock being able to connect to people constantly. One of the things I do want to see, though, is they do have that Hunter available to them. You know, Survival did get a little bit of damage buffs going in to 6-2, and I've seen them a lot on the ladder lately, actually. You know, previously we did see BM being kind of the dominant spec, that burst from the Crows. But, you know, having that Warlock and Hunter available, you know, it'd be an interesting comp to see against this Dream Team. Of course, I don't see Dream Team changing anything. I think that Snuts is really confident on Rogue. And then, of course, you know, Soda is going to be playing that Resto Druid. I think that's the only thing he has registered for this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, so of course, one other thing that's worth noting is that thanks to the 4-player roster, if WoD Baby Feral is having trouble with I Love My Cat staying online, having that 4th player who's on a different connection at a different place and everything does mean that they can bring them in instead. So we'll have to see how we can continue from here. Yeah, so we're gonna give WoD Baby Feral a little bit of time to be able to try and sort everything out. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna have a couple more exciting matches. Of course, after this one, we do have Tempo Storm versus Victoria's Secret, and of course, Tempo Storm is a very well-known team online. Of course, it is going to be Jamili. I do believe they did have some swaps though this time, roster-wise. Let's see if we can pull that up. Tempo Storm, of course, is going to be Jamili, Elite, Peekaboo, and Starship. So they have Starship in because he can play Hunter. Is something that I don't know if many people know this. Like, he's an amazing Resto Druid, incredible Resto Druid, always at the top of the ladder when he's playing. But he can also play Hunter. So that Survival Hunter that I was talking about, or the BM if they're going to set up for that burst, they can start to play, you know, maybe have Peekaboo on that Rogue, you know, playing the Rogue Hunter Thug Cleave together. And so it's going to be interesting. They have that deep roster. Of course, Jamili can play lots of stuff himself, you know, been playing Enhancement Shaman a whole lot lately too. So we'll have to see what they decide to use in that matchup.
Yep. Of course, they will be going up against Victoria's Secret, which is Evangeline's team. Evangeline, very well known as a Retribution Paladin. He's playing with
SSD, I believe.
Yeah.
SSDS as the hunter, and then they're going to have Colo as their healer. Of course, Oz is going to be playing Warlock for them also. So that is a great amount of comps that they can play, because they can play that Ret Paladin hunter. They can play the Ret Warlock, which I doubt we'll see, but you know, the Warlock survival.
Weird,
Warlock survival is a great comp. You know, we can see that affliction survival together. You know, just the dots everywhere, the longevity, the fast, shorter cooldown traps, lots of stuff.
Yep. And of course, it was actually interesting. Team Victoria's Secret was saying that because it is full gear and because of that 15% healing nerf that went in relatively recently, they actually feel that that's helped their composition out a lot for that, particularly I believe the Ret Hunter composition, but also, as you were saying, they have that Warlock available as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Of course, that's going to be after the match that we are currently waiting on to allow Team WoD Baby Feral a little bit of time to get their connection sorted out and everything, so that we can continue on with this matchup between WoD Baby Feral and Dream Team. And yeah, that's I really hope that they can get everything sorted out, because I really want to see these matches. I really want to see both of these teams at their best fighting against each other.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams
so
were kind of scared from this team, because that Feral locked together, you know, that, like we said before, the opening burst from the Incarnation out of the Feral, plus the double Dark Soul just lasting, you know, almost the duration of Incarnation itself. With all those dots out there, lots of disruption right from the start. That's something that they can push in and win. You know, having that Resto Shaman, having those having lots of cooldowns that they can stack right from the start. You know, the double links, the Ascendants. You know, that everything that they can do from the start. You know, that makes that kind of rush in, burn a lot of cooldowns. You know, that playstyle works really well having that Resto Shaman behind it.
Yep. So they are, like we were saying earlier, we do give each team a little bit of delay time. There will be a limit on that delay. So they will be, I believe they'll be coming up on here very shortly, and the total amount of delay time that they have available to them. But it looks like they have actually come back now, and they're actually going to select Tolvaron Arena as their map. So that's it's kind of an interesting choice. It makes me wonder if they are actually swapping out the Feral Druid for the
Hunter.
For the Hunter, yeah. Just because it is a much wider map.
Yeah, and I think that would be a great map for them. So we'll have to see if that's going to be I Love My Cat or not. So that is going to be Dream Team's choice of comp at this point. So I don't predict any changes, but because they have such a deep roster, I even saw Talbadar playing Starbadar for a bit, his Moonkin, and he's been playing his Ellie Shaman too. And, you know, if there's one person I could pick over the years that has been playing that hybrid caster just at the top of his game nonstop, it is Talbadar. He's always there on the Shadow Priests, on the Moonkins, on the Ellie Shamans, you know, really, really playing those that spot in the comp so well. That kind of like hybrid CC backup healer if you need to. So, and he's been around forever. And of course, so has both Snuts and Soda. So some tournament veterans on this team.
Yeah, and even Sam I Am as well. He's got a lot of, at least online tournament experience as well. I don't know if he's done any previous in-person tournaments, just off the top of my head, but he's got a lot of online tournament. We see him in the GCD tournaments fairly regularly. So we'll see what what composition Dream Team ends up declaring. They're taking a little bit of time on this, which makes me think that at least maybe they're talking it over a little bit, and they're thinking, okay, it's going to be Tolvaron Arena. Let's see what we should switch up. And actually, they are going to make a swap a little bit. It looks like Snuts is going to be playing his Warlock instead of the Rogue this time around. It's going to be Frost Mage.
Oh, that's going to be WoD Baby Feral's selection. Or no, he did. Oh, yeah. Wow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it makes kind of some sense on this map because it allows them to pull back a little bit more and play a little bit more defensively. WoD Baby Feral is going to be playing Resto Shaman, Affliction Warlock, and they are swapping to that Beast Mastery Hunter as well. So we're going to get into this match here. It's actually spinning up right now, and we'll be able to see how these teams can face off against each other. It's unfortunate that in the first match there was a little bit of a disconnect problem, but we will see if Jellybeans, Vassal, and Absterge can continue to take their team on to victory here on Tolvaron Arena.
Yeah, and we do have, of course, Snuts playing that Affliction Warlock, which he is known best for overall, even though he plays just about everything.
Yeah.
You can turn on his stream and he'll be playing Warrior or Rogue or Warlock or anything.
Yeah.
So he's got that depth of the roster. He can really pull out a lot of stuff for his team, keep the enemy team guessing. Of course, Jellybean's well-known hunter that is going to be subbing in for I Love My Cat XO, but that setup, that burst from the BM Hunter right from the start, followed by the dots from the Warlock. We'll have to see if that's something that they can make something happen with against Dream Team, since they are down 0-1 right now. The gates are about to open. We're going to follow Jellybeans straight from the start. Now, one of the things that BM can do is all they have to do to wait for their setup is going to be that 5 stack of Focus Fire, which is just going to do a ton of damage. So let's see if he's going to be the initiator. Looks like he is going to pull back a little bit and just wait, trying to get those stacks up while he's behind the pillar, since of course it is the pet critting that is going to give him the stacks, as he is going to try to push up, but immediately CC is coming out all over on the team, as Jellybeans is going to take a lot of damage with Absurge in that poly in the back. As you can see, Sam I Am sitting playing extremely offensive, that triple DR poly coming out, which does force the first deterrence from Jellybeans, as Absurge is going to be immediately caught into that fear.
He's still in a lot of trouble too.
Yeah, the Frostjaw. This isn't looking good. Second deter comes out, but of course that doesn't prevent that much damage from the dots themselves, as the link comes out. There we go. Absurge able to reconnect with his team, but this isn't looking good whatsoever for the team of WoD Baby Feral, as there we go. Now we're going to have a trinket followed by a deep, as looks like Absurge is going to make it out alive, and with Jellybeans kind of topped off, which is really good. That Wyvern Sting out onto Soda. As you can see, Absurge is really trying to pick his place to play, but he has Sam I Am just constantly poking at him with that CC.
Yeah, and Snuts has just been putting out constant pressure. However, both of his Dark Souls have been used at this point, so the damage is going to slow down a lot for Dream Team from here. And it could give WoD Baby Feral the opportunity to start pushing in here a little bit. They're actually trying to push onto Sam I Am. He's taking a bunch of damage, but Sam I Am, he's going to get over here out of line of sight. He's actually going to blink around and maybe try to make something happen onto Absurge here, but Absurge looks like he does manage to get out of line of sight once again and avoid that extra CC that it looked like Sam I Am was trying to put. But now he's moving in once again. There's the Cyclone onto Absurge. Jellybean's in a lot of trouble here. Vossel's using his Dark Soul, trying to push around to make Dream Team have to pull back a little bit. Absurge into that full polymorph. Jellybeans once again is just having to live behind this pillar, staying out of line of sight as much as he possibly can. Absurge into another polymorph, and as Snuts is moving around here and keeping those dots up on Jellybeans, Jellybeans is just in a ton of trouble right now. The Shadow Fury comes out. Absurge was not caught into that, though. He's going to be able to get a refresh on the Earth Shield and a couple other little heals off there onto Jellybeans, which will help him stay alive just a little bit longer, as the constant CC is going on to Absurge here.
Yeah, he is feared on that Ascendance. The Ascendance is going to fade, but he was able to top Jellybeans off with that. The Deep comes out. Just Sam I Am doing such an incredible job of keeping him CC'd nonstop, as Snuts is going to push up with that Dark Soul again. Has to connect with Jellybeans. Is going to be right on top of him, as Jellybeans is going to try to disengage away, because Absurge again has been CC'd for so long. We are going to see some roots coming out right there, as Absurge using that Aura Mastery from their glyph, as Vossel is going to try to toss his dots out, but Soda doing a great job of keeping his team clean.
Yep, pushing in onto Sam I Am here again. Going to try and make some damage happen, and Soda is caught in that capacitor stun. Are they going to have any follow-up CC on Soda?
Sam I Am, though.
Yeah.
Wow, getting burst down really, really low as that block comes out. Soda is going to use Nature's Vigil in response to that, as we do see this isn't going to play out very well for Dream Team, all being behind this pillar. But there we go, some CC out onto Absurge again. Soda was also CC'd there, tossing out the bark skin, or the iron bark, as Jellybean's taking a lot of damage, but it looks like the link came out and he just barely caught the link.
Yep. Yeah, he just barely was able to get inside of that as he was getting knocked away. They were actually trying to keep him away from the Spirit Link totem as it went down. It may have actually just been a poorly timed disengage or something, but he did actually manage to get that. Now they're trying to turn it around onto Snuts and Sam I Am here. Now suddenly Dream Team with Soda in that fear. Dream Team could be in a lot of trouble here. Sam I Am's getting super low. He may have to ice block. In fact, he will have to ice block. And Snuts is pretty low as well. They're going to try and turn some more damage around on him. Absurge even throwing out a lava burst there, just trying to put as much damage into Snuts as they possibly can. And Soda is now finally able to get out of that CC chain and get some heals going off. So now WoD Baby Feral may have to play a little bit more defensively here. We see Jellybeans and Vossel both pulling back behind this pillar and saying, all right, we didn't kill him with that, so we'll just pull back for a second, and we will try again as soon as we have the opportunity.
Yeah, this is actually looking quite well for WoD Baby Feral, as Jellybeans does have, he did have to trinket there just a moment ago, but he does have his crows up, so he just has to wait on that Bestial Wrath so he can burst again, as Soda gets caught in to the Wyvern Sting. They're going to go on Sam I Am yet again, who doesn't have any blocks yet, and he's going to gate out with Soda right nearby him. We see the Poly come out onto Jellybeans. Great job of stopping that offensive onslaught, because that was Wrath and Bestial Wrath and Crows onto Sam I Am.
Yeah, a nice move there from Soda, actually using Entangling Roots on the pet just to make sure that Sam I Am took as little damage as possible. Snuts' Dark Soul is about to wear off, but they are still trying to make some damage happen onto Jellybeans here. There is a full sheep on the Absurge. He's just had to sit through, and now a half sheep onto him as well. Jellybeans could still be in some trouble. The Ice Novas are coming out, and it's going to force his last deterrence once again. He's got a little while, probably about a minute left on his deterrence before he's going to have that available again. And there is one Spirit Link available for Absurge, so they could be able to survive through this, but they're definitely looking very, very scary with these pushes from Dream Team. Just so much damage that they're able to put out in a hurry, and keeping these guys having to split up constantly. But now there's a full trap onto Soda. He's just going to go ahead and sit that out. He doesn't feel too scared about it right now. Going to hang on to his trinket for as long as he can. There's another trap actually landing.
Yeah, I think he walked into an old trap at that point, and they followed up with the DR trap, as Snuts is taking a lot of damage because he does have the Crows out, plus the Bestial Wrath on him as the Iron Bark comes out. But look at them turn it around onto Jelly, who's caught into that stun. Absterge did have to trinket there also, so he's not going to have that available as he disengages through the link, and but catches the heal from it as he gates away also. You can see Absterge and Jellybeans are playing together almost exclusively, and then once Jellybeans needs to push up for that burst, he kind of leaves his Shaman behind, which makes a dangerous situation.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm actually really liking the disengage through the Spirit Link move that Jellybeans keeps doing. I actually thought it was a knockback earlier, but he is actually purposefully disengaging through the Spirit Link to make sure that he just gets that first tick off without having to sit in it for too long. It's actually a really, really cool little move. But now both teams have pulled back and are trying to maybe get some cooldowns back up before they move back in. Absterge does have 15 seconds left on his Spirit Link, so maybe that could be what they're waiting on here, as Jellybeans' offensive cooldowns are all available. It's going to be a little while before Vozzle gets his Dark Soul back, but may not have time to wait for it, as Snuts is now moving in here, popping his own Dark Soul, and the Icy Veins coming out from Sam I Am as well. They're going to try and push in here and make some damage happen, but Snuts actually kind of getting punished for it here a little bit. The Wyvern Sting onto Soda, and Snuts caught into that stun there for just a second. The trap comes out onto Soda, the Fear as well. Snuts does not have any defensive cooldowns available, so he's going to go ahead and port back over here out of line of sight. Soda once again getting put into that Fear, but Soda has held onto his trinket for so long that he still has it available, and now they're turning around onto Vozzle. Vozzle actually dipping down to about 20% health there. He's going to have to get out of line of sight. The Iron Bark did come out onto Snuts, but that was actually a really nice turnaround from Dream Team, being able to push WoD Baby Feral back and just diffuse that, that offensive push.
And that was basically Sam I Am by himself, you know, dealing the damage, really making sure that Vossel wasn't able to push up and deal damage to Snuts, but Soda in a Fear with Snuts still at half. He really hasn't been topped off whatsoever, but it really needs to happen quickly because Jellybeans is going to have Crows back up in about 12 seconds.
Yep. And of course, Snuts has his Dark Soul available, so he may be able to start to push back around here real quick. But if he keeps getting punished standing out here in the open like this, he could be in a lot of trouble. Sam I Am does have a block available, so he's feeling fairly okay, but he's getting pretty low still, down to 30% health there. He does manage to get a sheep off onto Vozzle, and there's a very short Fear onto him as well. But now Sam I Am all the way over here. They're actually, Dream Team's going to have to pull behind this pillars. Snuts is taking a ton of damage too, and both Snuts and Sam I Am have been so low for so long. Soda just has not been able to top them off.
Yeah, Soda, he's just split between healing the two of them. Sam I Am was out of line of sight from Snuts, so he had to push himself kind of on top of the team. As there we go, now the heals are coming out as Soda is going to play a little bit more defensive or try to... Oh, he Shadow Melded the Wyvern Sting, it looks like. That was a great job, but a Shadow Fury right on top of it as he also gets feared, as this isn't looking good for Dream Team because Soda just feared out into the middle as we see some heals coming out though, but this isn't the same Dream Team as I saw at the beginning of this match. They're not connecting together. They're on, they're trying to spread the dots, but Sam I Am really isn't pushing up and getting that CC onto Absterge like he was at the start.
Yeah, his Cold Snap is about to come off, though, so we could start seeing him to be a lot more aggressive. And in fact, they are going to push in here a little bit. They managed to force the deterrence out of Jellybeans. Absterge is caught into a short polymorph. They may be able to follow up with a lot of damage onto Jellybeans here. He does have a second deterrence available he's going to have to use right away. Absterge just trying to heal through this. He has no Spirit Link, so with this damage coming out, Jellybeans could be in a lot of trouble if Dream Team is able to keep up the pressure, but they're kind of getting pushed back. There's a nice stun landing onto Jellybeans in the middle of that deterrence, not allowing him to get away. Sam I Am does have that Iron Bark Spark falling off of him now, so he may end up having to Ice Block, and he does have to Ice Block there as the damage is coming out, but he cancels it early. They want to keep the pressure going onto Jellybeans. There's a root onto him, and there's this polymorph onto Absturge. Jellybeans down at 10% health, having to hide behind the pillar here, not getting any heals from Absturge, and he could be in a ton of trouble right now. 7% health. Can Absturge get a heal onto him? 1%? No. Jellybeans will go down, and that's going to be 2-0 for Dream Team, able to take this series and advance on to the semifinals.
Yeah, if you saw there, Sam I Am was back, and he was just trying to do anything he could to finish the damage because he had already used both of his Ice Novas at that point, so he had no Icicles ready, didn't have any fingers up, it looked like, so he just had to cast Frostbolts into him while he was by himself. Great job of keeping Absturge CC'd at the very end there. That was really such a back and forth match, though.
It was ridiculously back and forth. At the first, it looked like Dream Team was in just a commanding position. They were sort of tearing WoD Baby Feral apart. But then WoD Baby Feral, they turned it around, and it looked like Dream Team was in a whole ton of trouble. And then once again, Dream Team was like, well, no, you. So that was a great match to watch. That does mean that Dream Team will be moving on, and we'll be able to see them facing off against the winner of our next series, which is going to be Tempo Storm versus Victoria's Secret.